make up all of these insurance policies and stuff unless somebody asks him to do so. So why would YL do this without it being the influence of Tim? Doesn't make sense. Anyway, Leonard closed out his arguments, asking for the jury to consider all this information carefully and to come up with a not guilty verdict. That's why, it kind of gives you a little bit of pause. It's like, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. So then we have a rebuttal. All right. Dennis closed out their final argument by saying that they knew Norman wanted the job done because the alleged shooter received $5,000 two days after, okay, the shooting through Norman's friend. She further explained that the defense's argument was largely based on Norman's testimony. See, Dennis was able to give a rebuttal because she didn't use her complete 45 minutes, but Leonard used his entire 45 minutes really talking about the character of Tim and shooting down the character of Tim's little team. So we have a rebuttal from Dennis. Okay, she pointed out the flaws. All right. There was 1, 2, 3, 4 flaws that she pointed out in the trial. Number one, Norman testified that he didn't know insurance information, but Dennis pointed out that he filed an application in 2012 for himself and his criminal history in the application. Number two, Dennis said that for days the defense highlighted the financial success Norman had, but she claimed it wasn't real and Norman had an American Express judgment for more than $215,000. Not to mention, and I don't know why this wouldn't have been in the rebuttal unless Dennis ran out of time, but he got evicted from his apartment, right? And he had $91,000 a month in bills, he said. He was at his mother's apartment at the time of the arrest. That was not his apartment because he had already been evicted, right? So that should have been in the closing arguments and or rebuttal, in my opinion. Anyway, number three, Dennis insinuated that he was a liar because Norman lied to his girlfriends, plural, and lied to his attorney. Norman claimed that he was in California at the time of his nephew's demise, but Norman's flight and cell phone records showed that he was in St. Louis. So he was not in California like he said, because he said it out loud. Perjury. But anyway, I'm not an attorney and I'm not working on this case, so I'm just, these are just my opinions, and I'm just telling you what happened, right? He was in St. Louis at the time, the records indicated, and these are some of the records that the jury is looking at, right? He said that the only time Norman became emotional was when he was talking about himself or the alleged shooter. He didn't get emotional. He didn't tear up. He didn't show any emotion at all for Montgomery. And this is what Dennis said. All right. So the jury is deliberating today. And as far as I can see, the last article that was put out was 17 hours ago, 23 hours ago. So we don't have any information right now. They're still deliberating. It's only noon. It's 11:57 my time. I am central time. So if you're in Texas or Chicago or anywhere like that, we're in the same time. Excuse my voice. I hope I'm not losing my voice, because when the verdict is in, I'll be back. Okay, so I can't be losing my straighten up. I can't be losing my voice. Let me check the comments and see what you guys have to say. Oh, Oh Lord Jesus, help me. I'm serious. We need this to be. No, you did not. Oh my God, that is hilarious. Oh wow, that is hilarious. Liar. Oh man. Do you think the jury is just trying to figure out how much time or charges for Tim? That could be a possibility, but my initial thought was, oh my God, they're hung. Like there is somebody or some people who are split and actually think this man is guilty. I mean, innocent. There's some, you know what I mean? Like, and we don't know how many. It could be one person, it could be three, it could be five, like, we don't know. But I just feel like there are actually some people on the jury that actually think that this man is innocent and want him to walk. And mm-mm, mm-mm. Really, Sassy? Wow. Wow. So he's a big man on the street. Yes, yes. Denied. We talked about that earlier. Denied. Like it's too late for them to even. It's too late for them to even, do anything at this point. Like it's over. The trial is over. So anything they try to do, might as well forget it. Having considered defendant's supplemental motions for a judgment of acquittal, denied. Court hereby denies the motions based on the evidence of record and for the reasons previously stated. And it was signed by Judge John A. Ross today. So the the order was put in yesterday and was denied today. So there's nothing else that they can file. They can't file anything today. Period. Yeah. The only thing on the 15th is the denial. So let's see. Having considered the defendant's supplemental written motions for a judgment of acquittal, the close of the government evidence, and as the close of all the evidence, the court hereby denies the motions based on the evidence of record and for the reasons previously stated. So, yeah, a judgment that a person is not guilty of the crime with which the person has been charged. That's what acquittal means. The acquittal has been denied. So there will be none of that. Sorry. Knew they were going to try to file for it anyway, but we knew they were going to try to file for it anyway, but yep, the streets do talk. Shout out to the 208 in the chat. Appreciate you guys being here. Let not your hearts be troubled. Amen. I got an update that the jury asked for all of Tim. Yeah, but it was over 6,000 pages, so they may get a portion. Yeah, yeah. That was yesterday. They asked for all of the documents yesterday. Um, That was on the 14th. They did ask for written supplement. They asked for all of that yesterday. And so they're looking over portions of it because they asked for a portion of it in the beginning. Um, as of 3 p.m., the jury came yesterday and asked the judge a question. They asked for some exhibits, including an insurance contract. They asked for the Southwest Airlines flight records and the text between Norman and his attorney, and then they came back at 3:30 and asked for all the text message exhibits. So the jurors deliberated until 5:45, but could not come to a decision, and they're returning today for deliberation. So we're just kind of spinning our wheels until this. What was that comment? I thought yesterday they asked if Jarrell and Terica, and now today they're asking for Thames. Imagine the deep dive the jury members will do after the trial if some haven't already. Like, can you guys imagine if they say Tim is innocent, right? And then the jury members can finally look at all of the media and all of the things that we can see out here. Um, yeah. Can you imagine? And then they'll be like, oh my God, we made a mistake. So go ahead and just say this man is guilty. Just go ahead and say this man is guilty because we know he's guilty. No, he's guilty. He's guilty. Attorney Michael Leonard stated that he was okay with the jury having all the records. Judge Ross then stated that he would have the IT staff take a laptop to the jury room to hook up to a TV monitor. Okay. Well, I know they got the records. With it being 6,000 pages, I didn't know how that was gonna go, but I do know that they no, they can't retry him. You're welcome. I just feel he's guilty. I don't know that he's guilty. I'm just telling you how I feel. I feel like he's a liar. Okay. I feel like that he lied on the stand. And I feel like he's guilty. That's just how I feel. I'm sorry, but they all know he's guilty, Stassi. I mean, come on. They all know he's guilty. I wish the prosecution would have entered into evidence when Andre and Charles came to Janae's house to tell Miss Robbie how Tim put his hands on them. You know what, for real, and this is just me, but I promise y'all, I felt like this trial was gonna last a good month. I felt like, ooh, child, I just felt like prosecution was gonna listen, Linda. I thought this was gonna be a whole month. I took a deep breath and I said, I said this is gonna be longer than the R. Kelly trial. Woo. Oh yeah. We just said that a bit ago. They're asking for Tim's own records. Yeah, they're asked everything. They're gonna look at everything. They're gonna look at everything, Lauren. They're gonna look at it all. They're looking at phone records. They're looking at text messages, and as well they should. I feel like if it's going to be fair, Lauren, you know what I'm saying? If it's going to be fair, and thank you for giving us some updates as we're live. If it's going to be fair, I feel like, heck yeah, look at everything. Look at it as much as you can to make sure, you know, that you judge in the right way. He has to be found guilty. Too much evidence was withheld from the jury. So now they got to look at what they can look at. They got to look at what they can, what they're allowed to look at. And like I said, for us, there are 237 of us here in my particular live stream. And I appreciate all of you. And I know there are some of you out there that think that Tim probably is like innocent or whatever. And that's fine. If you're team Tim, that's fine. But I personally am not. And at this point, now that the trial is over, I feel like I can speak freely and say that, I disagree with every move that Tim made when it comes to Andre, starting from the show, when we saw the show. And I feel like that the way Tim treated Andre didn't just start on the show, it was just evident to the public on the show. And so, because of that alone, I'm looking at it like I don't believe anything Tim says because of the way he treated it. If you can treat your own nephew, like if you can punch and shove and, bump into your own nephew on national television like that, what's to make me believe that you care about this boy at all? If you can treat Charles like that on national, hey, Miss Cruiser, if you can treat him like that on national television, which I know the jury wasn't supposed to go back and take anything from the show into consideration, but I also feel like that was not fair because all of this was going on while the show was going on. We just didn't know it. It was behind the scenes. He was still engaged, which, now we know because they broke up while they were on the show, right? So Tim said he burn her phone so that he could keep his fiancée in the dark about his infidelities, right? Sorry, that I don't know. I feel like a lot of people should have been called. A lot of people should have been called. A lot of people should have been called. It was too soon. It was too soon. Like we're done already. Like the trial is over already. And even though I was tired of the trial, and I thought, why not just, if Oprah had been called on the stand, I would have fell all the way out. Do you hear me? If they had put Oprah Winfrey on the stand, if they had a subpoena over, they wouldn't even have to subpoena over. If they had put, if they had, I'm sorry,